Good morning, and welcome to Nature Watch. Nature Watch is sponsored by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. And now, your host of Nature Watch, live in the studio, back from his sabbatical, it is Gary Miller. Hey, stranger.
Good morning. 3 weeks since we've seen each other.
I know. I'm just like, who are you?
We can do that wonders of electronic transmission and do that remote show, but
right.
Well, I had one plan, and then last week my muscles and my back decided not to cooperate very well, so I had to do remote from home.
I've had the aches and pains myself. Today actually, I feel great.
The weather, I think, is the cooler weather, more damp. I know my arthritic joints have started feeling it a little bit. And, you know, I look back, we had a really actually wonderful fall, except it was on the dry side, but a lot of sunshine. Right. It's like disappeared.
You know, if you think earlier in the week was an adventure, just wait, kids. Guess what? It gets worse. Let's talk ahead.
Today's actually an average day. The average temperature is as high as 44. That's what we predicted for today. Yep. A little warmer the next couple days, and then it takes a little plunge. Going to be down in the low 30s for highs for the days. And there's some of that snow stuff predicted in there possibly in the forecast too.
And it could be heavy. Mm-hmm.
And with the, we were talking last week about maybe not seeing much snow here this last week because the Lake Michigan was warm and the ground's warm, but that cold air mass was cold enough that then it got picked up enough moisture. It's like, I'm going to prove you wrong. We're going to put some white stuff on the ground, and it did. Yeah. And maybe it looks like maybe that La Nina may be coming to fruition here.
And of course, what was happening this last week was the classic episode of Lake Effect. West side of town, couple of inches. East side of town, just barely grazing the grass.
Seems to be sort of a wall there sometimes.
I know. It's like downtown Kalamazoo. Boom.
Yeah.
It's like everything east, everything west. Guess what?
Well, we do have moisture heading our way because they've had all that rain out west, like way too much rain out, especially out in California, Oregon, Washington. They're having all sorts of flooding problems, mudslides, and you get in the upper elevations, they've had snow. Mm-hmm. So next week, when you get cold towards the end of the week, you're like, gosh, I'm starting to feel chilled now. It's damp out. We start seeing snow. Just a little warm feeling for you this morning. The low temperature in Canada right now is minus 34 Celsius up in Mayo Airport in Yukon Territory, which is minus 31 Fahrenheit.
I was going to ask you where that was.
I had to look because I was like, okay, it's getting colder out, starting to feel a little bit.
Right.
So this feels really warm compared to minus 31 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Okay. First, just remember, everyone, if you've lived here as long as I have and as long as Gary has, you know for a fact that we are way overdue for a rerun of 1978, 1967. You can even throw 79 in there.
Yes.
And 2014.
13 or 14.
It was 14. It was 2014 when we just got walloped. Yeah. We are way overdue, kids. Way overdue.
Yeah, we haven't had one of those winters in a long time.
But we do need it.
We do. We need moisture. Though these rains right now, even though it seems very dreary with all the clouds, we need that moisture in the soil. We need that cold to sort of get Mother Nature back in balance again. We've had so many warm winters that it's sort of thrown everything off. We've had more detrimental insects for a lot longer, i.e. mosquitoes.
Right. And ticks.
And ticks. And I think those warmer temperatures in the winters have knocked back some of the moth and butterfly populations because those chrysalis or cocoons that overwinter. I think the critters, because it's warmer, they're more active, and so they tend to eat more of those. Yeah, just my theory, but So we'll have to see what Mother Nature's going to do.
And please remember, whether it be me, Gary, or Ken Lanfear, or Michael Arney, or whoever is relaying everything, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, that's right. Don't shoot the messenger.
Okay. Just saying.
Just observations we see.
And if you do, you'll go away for a long time and you can't win our trivia question for the day.
Well, that's true. That's true. So on the way in here, I see some sandhill cranes flying around. There's still lots of them around in the fields. They seem to be flocking up a little more. So I actually was coming up 131, and there was a smaller group of about 10, 15 sandhill cranes that were fairly low elevation flew across the highway ahead of me. And up farther, much higher in the sky, was a larger flock of about 30 or 40. But you could definitely tell they were sandhill cranes. And there's still lots of them around. We're still warm enough. We start getting snow. We'll start maybe seeing some of them just sort of disappear from this area, but then when it gets warm again, they'll come back up. So we have some neat, sort of the neat events coming up here. Actually tonight. So the Kalamazoo Astronomical Society typically has their viewings at Kalamazoo Nature Center. Well, in the wintertime, because the weather may not be very conducive, they actually have online viewing sessions, and tonight is the first one. They're doing one a month. They actually have a link. It's a Zoom link into their remote telescope in southeastern Arizona. And so you can actually maybe see some clear skies from down there. And their cloud date is next Saturday night. So go to their website, KAS Online, and check out the times, how to get that Zoom link and everything. It's free. So neat way to, looking for something to do later tonight. Maybe do some stargazing in that.
Yeah, and keep in mind, remember, the weather's going to take another downturn, so get out and enjoy it now.
And it's cloudy here, so you can't see anything. Couldn't see the Leonid meteor showers this last week, or the Beaver moon. It's been very, very cloudy.
We may get some breaks here and there, but,
It seems like the clouds are here to stay for a while. Well, at least we're looking at the forecast.
Welcome.
Monday night, the Audubon Society Kalamazoo has its monthly meeting at the People's Church in Kalamazoo. There's also a Zoom link on that. They're going to be talking about the Kirtland's warbler. And Dr. Steve Rolls, who's an expert in that with the American Bird Conservancy, he's a biologist, and he's going to be talking about Kirtland's warbler. And there are some of the programs that they have to help save that bird. Next Friday, if you're looking for something to do to walk off all those calories after you ate on Thursday, and you don't want to fight the crowds out shopping, maybe later in the day, but
do people still shop on Black Friday?
They do. They do.
I'm not sure.
Part of that tradition. You don't have to shop all day though. You can go out early. From 9 to 6, the Kalamazoo Nature Center is open on Friday, and it's free, and so you can go out and hike their trails on Friday. Maybe get a little exercise.
So there you go. If you're a cyber shopper, there you go. You get out. And
you can actually go out and take a hike, and then go shopping, or go shopping and go out and take a hike. Okay, maybe get a little more walking in, besides waiting in line at the cashier and trying to get those purchases made.
I should shut my mouth and just copy and paste support local, but
Oh yeah, well, there's lots of neat things. So supporting local. We were talking a little earlier before we came on the air. Waddell's has their Christmas trees in already. We just got them in. Fresh cut trees. Might see the Santa guy out in his working clothes. Maybe help pick out Christmas trees. And besides live potted trees, and we've got some artificial trees too. So people don't want that live or can't handle the live. Some people are allergic to those scents. And
and I'm willing to bet they look a lot better than the ones you saw in September in the big box stores. Just saying.
Yes.
Yeah, and these are live trees now, right?
Yeah, so we've got live trees and we've got cut trees.
Okay.
We've got cut trees in the greenhouse, and they smell and look wonderful. Actually, really good looking trees. Seem like I say every year they look better than the years before. These are really good looking trees. Yeah. So I'm partial to a cut Christmas tree. I like the scent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a little maintenance to keep them looking fresh, but it's worth the work. There you go. Okay, tell you what.
We'll go to the trivia here, and
we're going to have to because we're just eating away the clock here this morning.
So the trivia question today actually was triggered a little bit. Yesterday was National Cranberry Relish Day, November 22nd.
And Thanksgiving usually, it does fall on the 22nd once in a while, so I get that.
So that's National Cranberry Relish Day, and according to holidayscalendar.com, they had a little note on there about National Cranberry Relish Day. It says, although we tried to find the origins of this holiday, our search proved fruitless. Got an eye roll out of Jim on that one. So, that was one of those holidays that said all of a sudden just appeared on calendars. Today is National Eat a Cranberry Day. So something, again, Thanksgiving related. Yeah. So my trivia question is actually about cranberries today. So my question is, how did the cranberry get its name? The name cranberry.
269-382-4280. Simply put, easy question.
Well, maybe not so easy. We'll see.
Well, how did cranberry get its name?
And some bonus questions, pats on the back if you know one or two of the Native American names for the cranberry.
Okay, well, we'll stick with what we have right here, okay? 269-382-4280. First correct answer will win a $20 gift card to Waddell's. And keep in mind, once again, I am a one-man band, so be nice to me and dial carefully. And while we're waiting and people are Googling...
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about cranberries while they're Googling, besides not telling you what the name came about.
Right. Well, hang on.
We have somebody with a guess?
Hold that thought. We do. Who is this?
Robert.
Robert. Hey, good morning. What's your guess?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
What's your guess? Where did the word cranberry or the name cranberry come from?
From the Pilgrims.
The Pilgrims.
Okay, and based on what? Actually looking for a little more explanation than just the Pilgrims.
From the blossoms.
Okay.
And what about the blossoms?
On the cranberries.
Okay.
What else, Mary?
So actually, I'm going to accept that because that's actually the correct answer. The reason they called them cranberries is actually they originally called them craneberries, and that was because the blossoms looked like sandhill crane heads, and that they originally called them craneberries. Both English and German and Dutch settlers, the English were familiar with the related European cranberries that they called fenberries because that's typically where they saw them growing, and here, the blossoms that reminded them of sandhill cranes, so they called them craneberries. Eventually, the E dropped out, and they became cranberries.
There you go.
Well, there you go. Robert, we have a $20 gift card for you for Waddell's. Can you hold on the line? And then I can get all that information from you that nobody else needs to know about, and we'll get that card out to you. Hold on, Robert.
Hey, I like that.
All right. Hold on, sir. And we're coming back in about, a minute, 10 seconds with more Nature Watch right here on WKZO.
Wild birds prefer the superior quality birdseed that you'll find at Waddell's Nursery, Florist, and Garden Center. Waddell's carries 16 different varieties of birdseed, and because of the large volume they buy, they can offer you the best prices. Choose from thistle seed to attract finches, mealworms to feed the bluebirds, safflower seed for cardinals, corn to feed wildlife, over a dozen varieties of suet, and several individual seeds that you can mix to make your own custom bird feed blend. Finches love Finches Feast with thistle seed and fine hulled sunflowers. Right now, the 10-pound bag is on sale for just $12.98. You save over $3. Another favorite of a wide variety of birds is Waddell's Elite Blend. This week, get 40 pounds of Elite Blend for only $29.98, saving you $4 on each bag. Waddell's is also your source for feeders, bird baths, bird bath heaters, and more. Waddell's Nursery, Florist, and Garden Center, the Kalamazoo area's bird feeding headquarters for 78 years.
Got one of those El Cheapo radios at the office? Don't worry, stream us all day at WKZO.com.
8:49:42 outside. Robert, our big winner of Waddell's gift card. Nature Watch rolls on with Gary Miller.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get everybody hungry for cranberries here. So it's actually one of the few fruits that are native to North America. Besides European, there's actually a variety that is native to parts of Asia. Only about 5% of each year's cranberry crop is sold fresh. The rest is turned into either cranberry sauce or cranberry juice. Cranberries are made up of approximately 90% water. So if you want to stay hydrated, you can eat some cranberries. Not the dried ones, obviously. And they typically, you see photos of they're harvesting cranberries. They harvest them. They usually have in those bog areas, or they like some wet areas. They use water to harvest, or wet harvest. They do that just so they float them. They actually have equipment that they take in and knock the berries off the vines. The vines don't grow in underwater. They actually are just in well-drained but moist soil. They like an acidic soil. And so a lot of times they'll use sand. And And they a lot of times will do a little top dressing, a little bit of extra sand on there, a little dusting of sand after so they leave the water over those plants in the wintertime to protect them from freezing. When the ice gets thick enough, they drive the equipment out and put sand on top of it. So when the ice melts, the sand settles right down on the cranberries.
Oh, okay.
And they like that little bit of sandy soil. But they use the water to actually harvest. So they have equipment that knocks the berries off the vine. The berries have little air pockets in them. So if you've ever cut a cranberry open, you hear that little pop. That's that little air pocket releasing, and that's why they float. And so they do that for ease of harvest. Just makes it a lot easier to.
Oh, okay. Cranberries, there's been lists going around of things that people don't want to see on Thanksgiving anymore. Cranberries has been mentioned. Green bean casserole has been mentioned, and I block those people because I will eat their serving. Thank you very much.
I love cranberry. Cranberry, good cranberry relish.
I have a little, but that's not my. I'll eat green bean casserole all day long. But some people are ditching the turkey for brisket or ham.
That could be a good Christmas meal though too.
Yeah.
So turkeys are good. You get some nice.
Years ago, my friend and I, we did a Labor Day turkey.
Oh yeah,
I kid you not. Yeah, why not?
So we usually try to pick one up. You get some really good prices typically this time of year. You put some in the freezer. I always. I grew up. I actually have a lot of Amish relatives, and so I always laugh when I see Amish chickens or turkeys advertised. I see them in the store. I want to go up and shake a drumstick and say "V Gates." For those of you who don't understand that actually interprets to "How's it going?" I did little humor. I think of that every time I see those signs in the store.
I'm just envisioning you doing that. Let's move on.
So they actually still do some harvesting by hand on dryland farm harvesting on the cranberries, but not very much. They were used, especially by the North American, U.S. sailors to prevent scurvy because they have a lot of vitamin C. However, if you dry them, you lose most of that vitamin C.
Really?
So you need to have that fresh cranberry. And so I guess the U.S. sailors could have been called cranberries instead of the limeys from the UK. UK, they had limes to prevent scurvy. They need that vitamin C. I guess they got their name limeys. So I guess the U.S. soldiers or sailors are cranberries. Just saying.
Okay, there you go.
But the cranberry was used by Native Americans. The indigenous Americans actually used cranberries and dried those along with dried venison and some venison fat, and actually made a energy bar called pemmican. So actually, you put that all together. It was actually a trail food for them, something that actually preserved would last a long time. And so they've been actually cultivated for almost, they figure about 12,000 years just by the Native Americans, just cultivating here and there. Not real aggressive. Here in the U.S., they really started cultivating cranberries about a little over 100 years ago, or actually 200 years ago, about 1816. And they out east and on Cape Cod, and so they've been actually expanding since then. I like cranberries, the stuff that you get out of the can that looks like this gelatinous round cylinder. Yeah, tastes okay, but fresh cranberries ground up is a lot better.
No, yeah.
Just saying.
There you go.
So the Native American names, actually, because I mentioned that before, the Algonquin actually called the cranberries let me say this again. Sasamuniash.
I'm glad you're on that side of the table.
It's a tongue twister.
We'll just let you try it.
Sasamuniash. There you go. Sasamuniash. The Wampanoag and the Lenni Lenape tribe on the East Coast actually called them Ibami. So they all have their little names for them. But they all used them they actually preserved quite well when they dried them down. And so they utilized that cranberry quite extensively. There are a few cranberry farms here in Michigan. Not a lot, but they're not a big producer. Most of them are out east. Wisconsin's actually one of the biggest states for producing growing cranberries. We get a little bit out in the West Coast in Oregon, Washington. And There's actually, if you want to ever see a cranberry farm, there's a few down here in the lower peninsula, just few and far between. There's one, if you want to go way up in the upper peninsula, up by Whitefish Point, north of Paradise. And just a touch west of the Whitefish Point, there's a cranberry farm up there. It was the original here in Michigan, at least in recent times. Mm-hmm. And a little neat operation. You got to go back quite a long, lengthy gravel/2-track almost to get back there. It's been a few years since I've been back there, but neat operation to see. And nice to see, they got some natural area that they grow those cranberries in.
We're getting a little short on time, but why are there so few cranberry farms in Michigan when you figure that, are they a difficult crop to manage, or?
It takes a little bit of investment. You have to have some good ground to do it. I'm actually not sure why they didn't take off here like they did in Wisconsin, because we had numerous wetlands that when they were still converting wetlands over to agricultural ground. Yeah. And I'm not sure why they didn't take off.
With Portage, of course, Celery City, for years and years with their wetlands, Portage would be, you would figure would be a good spot to pop up a cranberry farm.
Yeah, actually that muck soil that they grew a lot of celery on, and a lot of those muck soils would have been very naturally acidic. And I'm not sure why they just never took off here. Of course, that muck soil, if you get it wet and you get all that black soil on cranberries, might be hard to clean up.
Well, what's the growing season on cranberries? How long?
So actually, they usually bloom in about June, maybe the first part of July, and they actually get those berries. I know we always have a few plants at Waddell's. Actually, if you want to do some natural edible landscaping in your yard, you want to use some native plants, cranberries are fantastic for a ground cover. They need some sun. Need to have that acidic soil, so they're related to the blueberry. And they get that. Actually, if you plant them in the spring, that's what typically when you can find plants. You plant them that first year, and they're perennial. They'll come back every year. They grow sort of vine-like. But you plant them that first year, you'll actually have some berries that first year, typically. And definitely the second year and then on. So,
okay.
Neat way to, maybe grow some native plants in your yard and go out and graze when the fruit's ripe.
Oh, okay.
May have to keep some fence up to keep the critters away from them, though.
Okay, I'll tell you what. If someone just gets this wild idea, I'm going to start my own little cranberry shindig here in the spring. Let us know how it turns out. And maybe we'll start a big cranberry revolution in Portage. I don't know. Who knows? Pat McGinnis might help us out. Now he's the city manager.
So those cranberry facts you can share with your family when you're digesting all that food you eat on Thanksgiving Day.
Right. Okay. You're at Waddell's today. There are Christmas trees.
There are Christmas trees there.
There you go. And we have the holiday parade downtown Kalamazoo. So, go out to the holiday parade if you want, and then head to Waddell's and check out the festivities.
This is typically Thanksgiving weekend. So Thanksgiving's really late. So, have one less weekend between now and Christmas. So or Thanksgiving and Christmas. So you want to get maybe your decorations done early.
Right. And there you go. Gary. Thank you, sir. It's good to actually have you back in studio.
Oh, yeah, it's good to be here. Not quite the same doing it remote.
There you go. Oh, and thank you for coming in, and thank you for listening to this edition of Nature Watch. Tune in each Saturday morning at 8:30 for Nature Watch, brought to you by Waddell's Nursery, Floral, Garden, and Bird Center at the corner of 12th Street and Millam Road. CBS and local news is up next, and then American Outdoors Radio right here on 590 and 106.9 FM, WKZO.